Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily Dizzle for Friday, December 17th, 2010. It is the 4th day of Christmas, on the way to 12. You still got a week left to do your Christmas shopping if you're putting it off to the last minute or still have a few names to hit off like I do. We've got a lot to get to today. We've got NFL coverage from last night's game between the 49ers and the Chargers. We have the rest of the rundown from the Screen Actors Guild Awards that we didn't get to yesterday. We've got the latest movie news that has been coming out. We also have a weekend breakdown for the box office. You got a lot of movies coming out and a lot of other ones that are expanding that have been getting more attention lately. We'll have full coverage for you if you're looking to kill more time on your way to the Christmas holiday. First off, the NFL, the 49ers end up getting pummeled by the Chargers last night, 34-7. Chargers scored at least one touchdown every quarter of the game. Unfortunately, the 49ers only touchdown game as a last-ditch effort. The Chargers actually made it within 4.5 minutes of shutting them out completely. It really didn't help the 49ers that Justin Smith was ejected after he put his hands on an official, didn't know if it was an official or a football player, is apparently the story he's going with. Just shoved him out of the way because he wanted to get at Chris Wilson. Unfortunately, that led to a 15-yard penalty, and that was kind of the start of what was a terrible game for the 49ers. They are no longer really in playoff contention, though the Chargers are still putting themselves within half of a game of their division leaders. So a lot of action that's going on. You know, it's one of the closest races going into the end of the season ever going on right now. So after this weekend, there's a lot more good games coming on. We will have full coverage on Monday of those, but that's a good way to start the weekend with a shutout with a little bit more certainty, slowly but surely. After this weekend is over, there will be some teams who are knocked out and the season is done for. Yesterday we did a breakdown when we started to. We at least gave a brief rundown of the SAG Awards. We told you how the outstanding performance by a cast in a motion picture, the 5 pictures that were nominated for that one were Black Swan, The Fighter, The Kids Are All Right, and The King's Speech. In addition to The Social Network, all fine movies. There were also 4 other acting categories, all the lead actors for male and female roles, and supporting actors. In the lead male role actors, you have Jesse Eisenberg from The Social Network, same kid from Zombieland and The Village, finally starting to get some notice for his acting, also fine performance in Adventureland. Colin Firth for The King's Speech, everyone said that was going to happen. James Franco for 127 Hours, so good to see that someone from Pineapple Express who's very good at playing a stoner can also be recognized as pulling off some good acting abilities. We have Jeff Bridges for True Grit because Jeff Bridges is awesome. He will be seen this weekend, of course, in Tron Legacy. He was in the original as well. So he's starting to get more notice after last year's Oscar win for Crazy Heart. We also have Robert Duvall for Get Low, an independent comedy that kind of went under the radar that featured Bill Murray as well, though it had rave reviews while it was performing strongly on the independent scene. Outstanding performance for a female actor in the lead role. We have Annette Bening for The Kids Are All Right. That was one that was preluded in the other awards that we covered. We have Nicole Kidman for The Rabbit's Hole, Jennifer Lawrence for Winter's Bone, Natalie Portman comes through for The Black Swan, and Hilary Swank for Conviction. Hilary Swank has a habit of doing a lot of award season movies. She did the Amelia Earhart movie that didn't really get noticed, even though everyone said she might get Oscar nominated for it. This year, maybe she might be able to pull out the nomination for Conviction, though it's not necessarily a given. In the outstanding performance for a supporting role, on the male side, we have Christian Bale for The Fighter, which was already covered. Everyone said he was finally going to get recognized for that. We have Mark Ruffalo for The Kids Are All Right, John Hawkes for Winter's Bone, Jeremy Renner for The Town. He is showing that around Oscar season he's starting to get noticed after The Hurt Locker last year. We also have Jeffrey Rush, who a lot of you will know from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He is nominated for The King's Speech. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a supporting role. We have Amy Adams for The Fighter. We also have Melissa Leo from The Fighter. That one manages to get the double nom. We have Helena Bonham Carter for The King's Speech. We also have Mila Kunis for The Black Swan and Haley Steinfeld for True Grit. As we've said before, it seems like everyone's either dying or breaking up these days. Unfortunately, looks like a Hollywood veteran, Blake Edwards, has died. He was a director. He was most known for the original Pink Panther movies, not the Steve Martin ones that aren't necessarily that great, but the original ones with Peter Sellers. He was also the man responsible for Breakfast at Tiffany's, so that's an unfortunate loss for Hollywood. Yesterday we told you about a lot of sequels coming on the way from Miramax and the Weinstein Company. Scream 4 and Spy Kids 4 are coming next year, and that is going to be the start of a raft of sequels. Apparently in the pipeline they are trying to make sequels for Bad Santa, Rounders, which was a flick with Edward Norton and Matt Damon from years ago, and also the Oscar-winning Shakespeare in Love, a way to ruin the credentials of an Oscar movie by producing a sequel to it. They could also have the options of dipping in for Scary Movie, more infinite entries into that series, which is terrible. Those should have died a long time ago once they skipped over to PG-13. You might see a Bridget Jones 3, more Amityville movies, From Dusk Till Dawn, the Quentin Tarantino movies. You might see a few more of those, though not with him involved. Can't imagine. They ended up going direct to video towards the end. Can imagine a similar path here. Sequels to Copland, good dramas from back in the day that no one even knows anymore. You have Clerks in that as well, in addition to Shall We Dance, the Jennifer Lopez, Richard Gere movie. These are all movies that don't necessarily need sequels, though I know Kevin Smith has said before that he had ideas for a cartoon movie spinoff and other things like that. So if he's at least involved on some of the sequels that they're doing, then that could be alright in regards to the Clerks universe. Everything else, though, does not seem like it's necessary. There are 2 new photos out of Justin Bieber and his new concert movie. If you guys want to see that. You guys want to see that, right? Yeah? Anyways, now, since there's a long time between now and when The Dark Knight Rises comes out, the newest Batman movie that will be the cap on the trilogy for Christopher Nolan, there was some rumors going around that a script outline had landed that included Hugo Strange, Talia al Ghul, Black Mask, and Killer Croc as the bad guys. That has been denied in the meantime, though. A lot of people were saying that the rumors were that Dr. Hugo Strange would be in this one. However, with the new Batman video game, Arkham City, coming out, it has been revealed that he is really the center of the plot in that. So if that's the case, I don't know if it's necessarily as likely, though never say never, as the Justin Bieber concert movie puts it with its title. Never say never. With Tron Legacy, we're going to cover that later. The screenwriters for that, though, are also tackling a script for the Ouija board movie. They're saying it's not going to be a horror movie, it's going to be more like an Indiana Jones adventure movie. So hopefully that doesn't suck, but the fact that they're turning to a Ouija board and Battleship and all the board games to make movies like Monopoly, it's kind of getting out of control. So we'll see how well it turns out in the long run. With the A-Team out on DVD this week, the director has said that there will be no sequel. Unfortunately, it made under $200 million around the world off of an over $100 million budget. So even if it's a real big success on DVD, they're not really expecting to go back for another one. In a follow-up from the Valentine's Day movie, they're making a sort of franchise. The next one's going to be New Year's Eve as a spin-off. Sarah Jessica Parker has joined on. She will play Abigail Breslin's mother. Meanwhile, Zac Efron and Halle Berry are currently in negotiations. If they did join, they would be joining Robert De Niro, Ashton Kutcher, Jessica Biel, Hilary Swank, and many others so far involved. So even if you hated the first one and you hate the general concept, they all managed to bring a lot of stars together in the long run. So that's going to be another great guaranteed, hey, it's close to New Year's, we have to go on a date, we gotta go to the movie, oh, here's a movie New Year's Eve, you gotta go see it. And actually, here's a good segue into the new movies debuting this weekend. At the top of the list, How Do You Know, a romantic comedy. However, it doesn't look like it's terrible. It's got Paul Rudd and Owen Wilson, at least, in it for the guys who like good comedy. It also has Reese Witherspoon. It's got Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson is really good at popping up in movies around the holidays that end up having general leggy runs, end up not necessarily making a huge amount of money out of the gate, but in the long run end up making sometimes consistently over $100 million each. So that one will probably end up holding well for the holidays. As long as there's an interest for it and it opens up well this weekend, it's definitely going for a different demographic for the females as opposed to all the other movies coming out, which are more family-oriented or kind of adult thriller fare. In the long run, though, it definitely has the added advantage of having a cast that ends up having movies that have healthy box office showings. Owen Wilson, of course, with Wedding Crashers, Paul Rudd in Anything, Judd Apatow, and Jack Nicholson's consistent streak at the box office means it should do a lot of business this holidays. We also have Tron Legacy, which come the end of November, it was tracking to not do so well, considering that Disney had spent over $200 million over the years producing this. Though I know it ended up midnight showings. I think it got $3.5 million. I know it beat the $3 million of Inception's midnight showings. So it's not necessarily a huge number compared to the $20+ million of like the Harry Potters at midnight showings, but those normally have a niche audience that end up not coming back as well. So hopefully it will end up doing at least $50 million for the weekend. Though right now I heard that even with the 3D premium, it wasn't expected to track more than $35 million if it did open around there. Definitely be another disappointment along with the Chronicles of Narnia 3 for this holiday season. Of course, competing with that for the 3D and the families who have Yogi Bear comes out this weekend. Though that one does have the nostalgia factor for a lot of older parents or anyone who's a little older and just wants to go out and kill some time at the movies. Like this guy. Because that, I think, might be my pick for the weekend to see. Of course, I want to see all three of them, but come on, Yogi Bear. Especially when you have Dan Aykroyd as the voice of Yogi Bear, Justin Timberlake as Boo Boo Bear. You've got JD's brother from Scrubs popping up as one of the Rangers, and the other dude is that ridiculous comedian. I can't remember his name offhand, but he is out of control. So I definitely have to say that might be the dark horse of the weekend, so hopefully that one performs around at least the $30 million realm. I think they'd be happy with, considering they've got the whole holidays to work with. In the other fair, we have Black Swan expanding to just under 1,000 theaters, 959. It will be interesting to see if it can sustain its momentum so far that it's had. We also have The Fighter debuting at 2,500 locations, riding out with all the awards that have been given to it before it's even really debuted. It's only been out in theaters for a week or so. So that one is hopefully going to get a momentum boost right out of the gate and through the Christmas season. Other key points, we have Casino Jack opening, which got nominated for some awards for Kevin Spacey in the acting category. That's opening in 9 theaters. So that one, it'll be interesting to see if it gets a little bit of attention or ends up falling through the cracks. Other points of the box office for the holdovers, it'll be interesting to see if Chronicles of Narnia 3 can at least sustain its audience, or if it's going to crash a little bit harder like the second one in like Golden Compass, as it has tracked close to so far. We also have The Tourist. It'll be interesting to see if it can hold on to second place or in that realm, or if it gets knocked out by the new releases, considering it didn't open as huge as expected. It's hoping to ride some waves of people interested in it coming in a couple weeks. Not right out of the gate, maybe looking to kill some time on their way to Christmas shopping. Otherwise, if Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie can't draw any more in, it will not hold on much longer through the season. That's all the time we have for today. Don't forget to join us on Monday as we kick off the 3rd week of the Daily Dizzle. We'll have a lot of Christmas stuff going on. We'll have a breakdown of Billboard's top Christmas songs for the season, because as always, we love attacking them and their choices. We will also have a coverage of how all these movies hold up over the weekend at the box office, and we will also have NFL breakdown coverage. Thank you guys as always for joining us. I am Tommy Dizzlemits. We hope to see you next week on the Daily Dizzle. In the meantime, check out our YouTube channel and check out some of our original compositions. Thank you for joining us as always. I'm Tommy Dizzlemits. We'll see you guys later.